Rachel Levitin's performance career started in middle school with chorus. Solo performances of her original music started at age 14, and she hasn't looked back since. So she's known for her high-energy performances, her thoughtful lyrics, and positive storytelling, which I can vouch for personally because I have seen her on stage many times. And she released her debut EP, Nearly Broken, which reached #1 on Amazon's Music Adult Alternative New Releases chart in October of 2015. And then her most recent release, Get Back Up, we actually did the world premiere here on DC Music Rocks. And my favorite memory about that is that you were in an Uber.
I was.
And she took video or Instagram Live or whatever it was. She did video. I got to see video of her sitting in the car with her Uber driver, listening to her world premiere on the show, which was, as a host, that was one of my favorite memories that I have so far, is seeing that. That was amazing. So thank you for sharing that and for letting me do the world premiere, because that song, check out Get Back Up by Rachel Levitin, because it's awesome. So now I've talked too much. Listeners, it's with great pleasure that I introduce Rachel Levitin.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
And now tell us about now the music started. There's trumpet and guitar. We talked about that. So, but I just said that it started with chorus.
Yes.
So how did the evolution happen to where you are now from then?
So basically, I was lucky. I went to a bunch of really good schools growing up. And so when I was in middle school, I went to the Bernard Zell on-Shamit Day School in Chicago, Illinois. And they had, it wasn't the biggest school, but they had a really good supportive community of teachers. And so I was into the arts. And in 4th grade, that was the year that you could sign up and start doing chorus or band. And so I decided to join both, although band was my preferred choice just because I really enjoyed playing trumpet. What happened was, you know how when you're in school, you get to pick your instruments?
Yeah.
So I was trying out things. I tried the flute, couldn't get a peep out of it. Then I was trying to decide, do I want to play drums or trumpet? Looking back on it now, either one was going to be equally loud. But either one. But
it's so true.
But
in different ways. Yes.
In my mind, I decided, oh no, trumpet would be the better choice. So I tried that one, and I could play it right away. So that plus the other after-school activities was the guitar class, and I just started within a few weeks of each other, and I've just been playing them ever since. And I was 9 then, so yeah.
And now, do you still play trumpet often, or guitar more frequently now?
Yes, guitar much more frequently, but from ages 9 to 18, trumpet was really more my primary. I started songwriting at 12, so high school was kind of like peak songwriting time, I guess. But trumpet was my big thing for middle school, high school, and did some in college at AU, American University. But really, my trumpeting days were more of a high school thing. But I loved it, and now I get to. You'll hear some trumpeting on a track we'll play later on in the show.
Yeah, we got a sneak peek of it. You get to hear Rachel play trumpet on another artist's song, which is really cool. So, well, now tell us about you outside of the music. Then, are you a homebody? Do you hang out a lot? What's life like for you out there?
I'm a definite extrovert, but I need time to sleep and recharge those batteries. So, I think it was a couple weeks ago. I was either playing a show, going to a show, or helping with a show every single day in 1 week. I've learned that I can't do that. I got very tired, but I made it out okay. Extroverted, definitely, but outside of music, I would say I'm a music fan, so I go to a lot of shows. You can find me at Jam and Java or Iota or 930 Club or DC9 or wherever more often than not. So,
which is, I can say I have seen, I love, one of the great things about the DC music community is you start going to shows and then you start seeing people you know. Mm-hmm. And there's so many times where I've gone to shows and I didn't know Rachel was going to be there. And there she is. And now I got another friend who's at the show. Mm-hmm. I love it. She is definitely a music connoisseur and an awesome support artist. By the way, she kills it on the trampoline. Mm-hmm. That's a trampoline and a tambourine together. If you didn't know, it's called a trampoline. So she actually played the tambourine. Yeah. Although, we should have you play the trampoline. Bring a trampoline on stage. That'd be anyway. I've spent enough time on that. All right. So now, tell us about a funniest moment that comes to mind from your performing memories that you've got.
Funniest moment. Well, no, this is pretty funny. So, in April, a few years back, I forget what year. It's kind of irrelevant to the story, but I saw a post on Facebook One of my friends posted that her friend was organizing a pop-up chorus to sing with Damien Rice at the Lincoln Theater as part of his sold-out show.
Whoa.
And we were the surprise to end the concert to do his, what's that called? The encore. He surprised everyone with this chorus at the end of that specific tour. And so me and my friend Jason Mendelson of the Metro Songs.
Yes, he's been a guest on here
Yes,
too.
yes,
He's awesome,
yes.
yep.
We ended up in that chorus together, but a day before I was supposed to do that, I was transported to the ER because I had a kidney stone. So,
oh my gosh.
And I'm pretty young, so
Right.
stress. It happens, folks. Hydrate. It's the most important thing you can do for yourself. When you're stressed and drink coffee like I do, drink water. Don't Gilmore Girls it. Drink water.
Public service announcement by Rachel Levitin.
Yes.
I love it.
So,
Drink water. Okay.
I drank.
Got it.
Drank a lot of water after that, but I did sing on stage with Damien Rice with a kidney stone in my body.
Wow.
At a sold-out show on a Friday night at DC's historic Lincoln Theater.
That is
Yeah.
amazing and hysterical at the same time.
Yeah.
And
And
wow.
painful.
There you go. Yeah, I can only imagine. I drink a lot of water, so I'm hoping I
man.
can't ever relate to that story, actually, but we'll see what happens. So, all right. So now tell us about what's something in your music collection that might surprise us.
Oh, I'm a big Dixieland and big band jazz fan.
Really?
Yes.
So like what?
Benny Goodman, all that old school, Duke Ellington, Count Basie, anything that you would hear on the street in New Orleans with those marching bands for the weddings,
Wow.
that kind of stuff. Because the first reason I fell in love with trumpet was Louis Armstrong. So,
Oh, there we go. Yep.
Yeah.
And boy, he's got that's wow, cool stuff. All right. So she's kind of a pop indie amazing performer herself, and yet there's big band Dixieland jazz. I love it. All right. Now, so your earliest memory with music?
Oh,
what
that's
comes to
easy.
mind?
My dad was a singer-songwriter and guitar player. Although I don't think I ever heard any of his songs, so I don't know if he actually did that when he was an adult, but when he was younger. But when I was a little kid, we had this tiny mini red guitar that my grandma got me. I thought it was a real guitar. I thought I was playing it when I really wasn't. But my dad would play guitar, and then we would write songs about like farm animals or something. I remember one was called Pink Flamingo, but I don't remember how it went, but I know that it happened. So I have that memory. So it goes back as far as my memory actually takes me.
Wow, the Pink Flamingo memory
Yeah.
with Dad. That is cool. I love it. All right, and now what about the first memory performing? What
Oh boy.
what comes to mind?
Well, the first time I performed an original song, I don't remember where it was because there's a few different examples I can think of, but I know that my legs, I'm pretty confident. Now you would never know that I would ever be nervous. Every once in a while, I get a little stage excitement. I wouldn't call it stage fright, but excitement, like
Stage
you're
excitement.
buzzed, a little bit
I love
buzzed,
it. Yep.
all
Okay.
naturally and everything. But my legs used to shake underneath me. Like mentally, I was good to go, but my
Wow.
body was saying no, 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 and they
Oh.
would start to tremble beneath me, and I had to learn how to push through that. So there's enough. Like the
Wow.
first few times, I definitely almost like fell to the ground because my legs were not going to hold out underneath me.
Wow. And do you have like a tactic or something that you use to work through it, or you just learned over time to work
I
through
just
it?
learned that I have nothing to worry about.
Got it.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. Wow. So what about a funniest moment on stage? What's something fun? What comes to mind?
Oh boy, I should have thought about it. I should have done my homework on this one.
Oh, yeah.
But funniest moment on stage? That's tough. I think recently, well, I don't know if it was funny, but my band and I have a good time. We only just formed this July, and every time we end up taking like on the stage selfies or things like that, and just it's not exactly funny. So that's kind of not an A-game story, but yeah, we have a good time. We're a bunch
Taking
of
selfies on
jokesters.
stage?
It's fun.
I
mean,
love it.
I don't have a
Yeah.
selfie stick or anything like that, but you know what? We like to goof off.
There's still opportunity. There's still a chance. You can still make that happen.
Well, I call them a bunch of goofs because you should see the Facebook message group that we have. It's basically just a bunch of emojis that we keep sending back and forth to each other. So
my
shout
God.
out to Graham, Kendall, and Alex. You guys are hilarious.
Yes. Oh my God. And have you stepped into the GIF game yet?
I feel like I need to, but we haven't gone that far. We've added some
my God.
Bitmoji to our game.
I'm going to
But,
tell you a secret. If it's
yeah.
a Facebook group, there's a button that says GIF.
Oh, there
and
is?
go in there. Try
I just
it.
never
You
pressed
will
it.
just
Oh,
your
boy.
group will just one up on the GIF situation.
They're gonna
That's
love
gonna
it.
be amazing.
Get ready,
Now
guys.
what? So now, what about? Tell us about a time you tried and failed.
Tried and failed. Well, let's see. Good question. I feel like I'm using dead air. Tried and failed. Well, I remember I really wanted to be first chair trumpet at the jazz band, and I went to Interlochen for 2 summers in Traverse City, Michigan, to study jazz. And looking back on it now, yeah, did I want to be like first chair or whatever? Yeah, I did, but I wasn't like the rest of the kids there. I was, but I wasn't. Whereas they all planned on being professional instrumentalists when they grew up, which, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I just, at that point in my life, wasn't so sure about my route in life. And being there as a trumpet major instead of a songwriting major, it kind of changed the game for me. But I love jazz. And so I auditioned and I ended up, I think, getting 4th chair. And at first I was disappointed, but then I realized, you're not practicing. That's your fault. If you want to be a higher chair, you should probably practice.
Yes.
So here I am at a
Practice is
world-renowned
good.
camp for instrumentalists, and I wasn't practicing. So yeah, of course I would get 4th chair. But then I started practicing. That was just I went back for 2 summers, so that was just the start of the first summer. Then I practiced it, and I think I got up to 3rd chair. And maybe even sat in on some 2nd at that point. But you have to remember, these are kids from all over the country, all over the world,
Right.
who
A really
this is
competitive
what
thing.
they want to do.
So Reggie, you're a fairly gifted trumpet player too. We hear you on guitar on stage
Yeah.
a lot, but you with a trumpet is also a really good thing. It sounds like.
Yeah, I got to get my chops back, but I have a few concertos in my bedroom that I could probably still play if I practiced.
I feel like that's what she said thing. I don't know.
Right,
Anyway,
work it in.
Concertos in the bedroom.
Yeah.
I love it. Anyway,
Bum-bum.
all right. So so now one of my favorite last questions to ask is, what's one piece of advice that you would offer?
Just don't compromise yourself and don't be afraid.
Say more on that. Don't compromise yourself.
Know what you're capable of and don't sell yourself short. I mean, confidence is hard to come by. I know a lot of people who struggle with it, but I know a lot of people who don't. And it really just comes down to knowing that, when I sing, I know that I'm supposed to be doing that and it feels good to me. So if you're doing something that feels good to you, do it, and don't let anyone inside your head and make you think that you shouldn't be doing it or you're not good at it. I mean, just do it.
Yeah. What about now? If folks want to follow or find out more about you or follow you, where are the best places for them to go?
Best place to go is I love Instagram the most just because I would like to say a novice photographer or something of that nature. I do like to take photos of animals in concert. So if you like cute animals or music, follow my Instagram. It's RHLEVITIN. But I'm also on Twitter, and I have a Facebook page for my music. And then just RachelLevitin.com.
RachelLevitin.com.
Yeah.
That's the magic spot. And now, you had mentioned earlier, and I want you to share with the listeners about Tony DeLuca and the story.
Tony
you were saying.
Luca,
Yeah, talk about that real quick.
Oh, Tony Luca. So we go way back now. I became a fan of Tony Luca in 1999 when the Disney Channel was airing a Mickey Mouse Club marathon because that was peak NSYNC years. Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Carrie Russell, Ryan Gosling. They were all on the show. But so was Tony Luca, who was also on The Voice Season 2. And I've been a big fan of his music for a long time. I first saw him open for NSYNC back in, I think it was 2001. And we met back then. I have an autograph and picture from then. But fast forward to 2010, got to interview him for a website I was writing for at the time called We Love DC. And fast forward a few years, we've seen... there was a chunk of time where I think I saw him more throughout a year than I saw my own family just because he would come here for concerts and I wouldn't go home that much. So we just go way back, and he became a good influence on me. And so this past weekend, I flew home to Chicago to celebrate my birthday, a milestone birthday, with my immediate family. And we had Tony come, and we played a little house concert for everyone, and then went out to dinner. And for the first time, I got to play 2 original songs with someone who had a really big influence on me. So I'll never forget it, and I'm really grateful. And Tony's back here on April 9th, I believe. Yes. So.
Wow. Well, Tony, shout out to you, and I love that story. That's amazing.